Welcome back to the channel, my friends, or if you're a new viewer, welcome to the video. Today is a topic of a character that I've wanted to talk for a long time, and if you know what I post on the channel, you know I have a big obsession with Persona. And this is one of my favorite characters in Persona, Dr. Maruki. And he is, I guess you could say, an antagonist, and he's probably one of the best written protagonists I've ever seen in a video game. But before we dive into this video, who is Dr. Maruki? And, well, I will be explaining it right now. Dr. Maruki is a Persona 5 Royal exclusive character and a confidant you can unlock in the game. Also, doing Maruki's confidant extends your SP, which is another reason why you should definitely do his confidant. His confidant is something that isn't required to have certain stats, and you automatically unlock it on May 13th. Maruki is brought in by Shujin Academy after the Kamoshida incident to help support the students that were victims to Kamoshida. Also, side topic, why did they not have a counselor there already? Don't most schools, even if there's not a big event that goes on, they already have a counselor there? I don't know if it's different in Japan or it's just because of the game, but it's just a question that popped into my mind. But doing Maruki's confidant and mentioning things, he slowly opens up more and more like most of the other confidants. When I first played Persona 5 Royal for the first time, he didn't really seem much to me, and I only did a social link for the EXP bonuses you can get in the Velvet Room, and you'll see why later in the video why doing his confidant is probably the best thing you should do in Persona 5 Royal. But one thing people don't know about Maruki is there's another side to him, not an evil side, but I guess you would say a depressing side. Maruki has a fiancé named Rumi. During a home invasion, Rumi's parents were killed and Rumi was injured in the process, leaving her hospitalized. This mentally broke Maruki, physically beyond he could really handle. And this is what caused him to start doing his cognitive research, and he used it for positivity unlike some people. But one day while Maruki was in extreme grief, he made a contract with some mysterious thing, which I'm not going to spoil anything. But while Maruki was in university working on the cognitive science, he was rejected for what he was working on, and they revoked all funds, which was kind of fucked up in the end. But Maruki isn't really an evil character. He didn't manipulate people like Kamoshida, and he didn't have greed like Madarame. Which, if people don't listen to the storyline or what the game is telling them about Maruki, when they go to fight him, they assume, oh hey, I'm fighting this guy, he must be evil or something. But that's not really the case. But at the end of this, you might be asking, why is Maruki an antagonist? And well, we will be diving into that right now. By the end of Maruki's confidant, he knows you are a phantom thief, and he knows about the metaverse. Now, there are some characters that don't have any really influence on the story but know you are a phantom thief, but they don't know about the metaverse. Maruki is probably one of the non-main, or well, I should say he's a main character in Royal, but he's a character that knows about the metaverse, which should already raise a little bit of concern. You see, the reason why Maruki is seen as an antagonist is because he has the ability to change reality to how he wants it. That is one man alone who can decide how he wants the world to be. And you see, in the third semester, where reality is changed on everyone, you see some characters that are dead alive. And this includes Okumura, Akechi, and Wakaba, who is Futama's mom. And you would think, well, isn't that a good thing that these characters are back and alive? Some would say yes and some would say no. And the reason why some say no is because Maruki changed for reality and made it the way everyone would want it to be. But everyone deserves the right to live a life the way they want to instead of it being controlled. And Joker is the only one that knows this is not the real reality, while everyone else has been fooled by how things have been put in the way they want it to be. And that's why in the first couple days of the third semester, you go around talking to your friends and you see they're happy. But you tell them some things that kind of snaps them back to the real reality. The reality they don't want to be in themselves. But let me ask you this. Were Maruki's intentions good? And I would say yes. His intentions were good. He wanted to quote-unquote save people using his power and giving them a better reality than the fate or what they might be living in the current reality. But if you wanted to, Maruki gives you an option before you truly do fight him, and that option is to keep reality the way it is, the current reality that everyone is living in where they're happy. And if you decide to say yes, you will get this certain cutscene.
Would you rather I take that for you? You're all friends, right? Okay, ready? Say cheese.
Thank you. Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks a bunch. Can I see? Did I?
At the end, you see Joker looking back, and the way I see it is he knows what he's done, and after that he can't change it. This is what he's stuck to live with, and you can see it in the way he acts. It isn't canon, but the false reality ending, it shows everyone's happy, and it makes you question, did I make the right choice picking this? After you do go and fight him. Because when I fought him and then I watched the cutscene, because I used a different save file, I'm like, did I really make the right choice fighting Maruki? But before we end this video, there are still a few topics left that I will not leave unmentioned. And the next topic is Marukis Palace. I'm not going to talk too much on Marukis Palace, as I'd like to make sure this video stays at a certain rate, but I'm still going to keep talking about it. But you unlock Marukis Palace if you max out Maruki and Sumire's social link. But Maruki's palace isn't really built like some of the other enemies, and that's kind of unique. It's not built like a school where Kamoshida thought he was the king of the castle, or a museum like Madarame, or a bank like Kaneshiro. Like, yes, Maruki had desires, but his desires weren't with evil intent. But if you listen to some of the dialogue that goes on in the palace, you see someone mentioned rooms where you can have your desires and something special. And that's Maruki trying to change people and give them what they want. But there's also things in Maruki's Palace that I'm not going to touch on, like the Sumire boss fight with Maruki, and where everyone comes back to normal. This video is supposed to be about Maruki and Maruki only. But there's also another thing I'd like to mention. In Maruki's Palace, you find these VCRs that are kind of like a puzzle. And once you find these VCRs and put them in the tape recording, a cutscene plays out. And this first cutscene is what made me feel empathy for Maruki. But I'm gonna go ahead and play it.
How are you feeling today, Rumi? Sorry I came empty-handed. I've just been so busy with the research lately. I haven't had the chance to pick up any part-time work. I know. I'll buy you flowers the next time I come. Do you remember that wildflower field we used to go to back in high school? You really loved it there, didn't you? Oh, would you prefer if I brought you some snacks instead? Which should I bring? Sweet or salty? I know you like both, so... Actually, I have some news for you today. So first, I've finished my paper. The other thing is, they caught the culprit. He's in police custody now. You don't need to worry anymore. Of course, that doesn't mean everything's over and done with, but things are going to proceed as they ought to. My cognitive science is the study of people's hearts and how they guide people's views of the world. Everyone comprehends the world in a different way, depending on their cognition. So basically, if one could tap into a person's cognitive world, one would even be able to alter how that person views reality in every way. That's what my paper's all about. Here I am, going way over your head with this stuff, just like always. But anyway, I've recently met someone who thinks my research could be fruitful. If everything moves forward as planned, they may even fund my work. At that point, I'd be the first professional scientist in the world. My goal is to find a way to stop crime by putting my research into action. Many of the criminals in this world are deluded to the point of seeing everything through a distorted lens. If I could change their cognitions, it would stop them from committing crimes before they even considered them. And if I were to succeed, the things that happened to you would never happen to anyone else again. I want to save you. No, not just you. I want to save the whole world with my cognitive science. Well, at least I know your family would appreciate it. Rumi, it's me. Are you alright? Can you talk?
Family. My family. Dad. Mom? No. Please. Please don't go. Ah!
Rumi, it's okay. Calm down.
Give them back! Give me my mom and dad!
You find various tapes around the map that have these cutscenes, but the first one that you find, it made me feel lots of empathy towards Maruki, and it made me realize in the end, like, I didn't want to fight him, but I had to. But Maruki is a character that you question yourself, was it right to fight him? Was it right to go with the decisions I made? But I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. We are going to close this video off with Maruki's boss fight, and why I think it is probably my favorite boss fight in Persona 5. This is the final fight, where you are left to fight Maruki. There's no way out of it, and it's the final fight. And let me say this, it might look like a generic JRPG boss fight, but Maruki's boss fight was probably my favorite out of the entire franchise. I don't know what was so special about Maruki's fight. I don't know if it was because of the music, the meaning behind it, or just the way it felt. But I didn't want to fight Maruki, and it made me feel guilty that I had to actually go through and attack him, because he was a character that I really enjoyed, and it made me feel like shit that I actually had to fight him. Granted, he's an antagonist, but the game makes you feel like he isn't a villain or an antagonist, and that's how they play with your emotions, and I gotta give them credit. They did a perfect job on doing that. Now, don't get me wrong, there's games that make me question if I did the right thing and should I be regretting doing this, and Persona 5 and Maruki's boss fight is one of those things that make me feel so fucking bad for having to fight him, but it's for the good ending. That's what I tell myself. And this is a side topic, but Throw Your Mask Away fits so well with Maruki's boss fight. I get it was built for his boss fight, but it's so perfect. Like, whoever wrote it knew what they were doing, and I give them applause for that. Now, Maruki's boss fight is very long. It has 3 phases. One where you're seeing on screen now, and then one where his persona evolves, and the other one's an emotional fist fight. But what also makes me feel bad for Maruki is this fight is so he can try to defend what he thinks is right and that he wants to save people, and he's trying so hard, but we're in the way. We're trying to stop him. Even though we know it's for the right thing, it feels so wrong. Now I'm going to skip ahead because Maruki's boss fight is a long fight, and if if you're near Maruki's boss fight or you're on Maruki's boss fight, please try it for yourself. It is an amazing fight, and it was written so well by Atlas. Hey guys, editor note, I was not able to find any footage of Maruki's persona evolution without downloading an entire ass video. And to make sure this file size doesn't get too big, I'm going to have to cut it, and I do apologize for that, sincerely. This is the last phase of Maruki's boss fight, and I want you guys to listen to it because it is so well written.
I gave up everything! Everything! So why?
Hearing Maruki say he gave up everything made me feel like a horrible human being. This man has worked so hard to get where he is now, and we ruined it.
Why, Rumi? A reality where no one suffers.
As Maruki said, a reality where no one suffers. That's what he wanted. That was his goal. And that is why he's considered an antagonist, because he changed reality. But he had a good reason to, and you feel for him. This is where he finally admits defeat. He knows he's lost Joker.
I'm done. I get it now. All thanks to you.
This proves right here that Joker still had sympathy for Maruki and wasn't just going to let him fall to his fate.
I said I'm done. Please, let go of my hand. Your eyes are as bright and honest as ever. You keep your head up no matter what. I must have always been afraid. Afraid you and I wouldn't wish for the same reality.
I know we get a dose of what it would have been if Joker and him wished for the same reality, but what if it was canon? What if that's how everything truly would have went down?
So bright.
There you have it, folks. That's the end of the video. This is probably the longest video I've uploaded in this channel that are talking on these type of topics. If you've stuck through to the end, thank you so much. I know this was a long video and these probably won't get much views, but thank you for sticking to the end. It does mean a lot. I'd like to attribute this video to Billy Karmetz. If you don't know who he is, he voices Maruki and lots of other characters, but after Persona 5 Royal came out, he passed away tragically. And he's well known in the Persona 5 community as the voice actor for Maruki. There really isn't much for me to say at this part, but thank you guys for watching the video. I truly do appreciate it, and it means a lot that you guys have stuck through to the end. I know I keep saying that, but it's because I'm thankful that I have people that watch this. But thank you.